and welcome back to another episode with yours truly, Gracen. Today, we're going to talk about divinity in the next few years and oneness and how we are coming together as a collective. This is exciting. This is deep. This is about to get real, guys. Oh my goodness. So for those of you who are not super aware with astrology and how it works, right now Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, and it has been transiting in Pisces for the past 11 years. And starting in 2026, Neptune is shifting into Aries, which means unity consciousness is coming. Like, it gives me full body chills even saying that. Unity consciousness is coming. So I really wanted to share this vision that I had back in 2021. So let's see, it's year 2023. So yeah, I had this vision 2 years ago. And now it's okay for me to share this because when I first had that vision, I was guided to not share it, obviously for safety and like not to scare people and stuff like that. Like, everything always gets shared in divine timing. So now is that time to be shared. Okay, so basically I had this dream where I was standing in this park. It looked like a park. And there was just thousands of people, thousands. And everybody was like standing together, like full of anger and hatred and resentment. But it was like the energy of the crowd was like, it's go time kind of energy. And this guy stood up. Okay, actually, before we get to that part. So everybody was like standing together, and there was like a row of like National Guard people, I want to say. It was like they all had like shields and like, helmets and stuff on. I can't remember if like some of them look human, some of them I want to say were like reptilian. I can't remember. But anyway, this guy stands up in this massive crowd of people, and he just goes, "Go!" And everyone just charged, like the military, whoever it was that was like blocking all the people, and they literally got trampled, pummeled, like they just got super taken down. And it was just so incredible to like witness that vision and really integrate how fucking powerful we are as a community. Like, if everybody on this planet acted as a community, like 8 billion people against the 1%, like we would destroy them. Like, we literally have the numbers. And so, it's like, what is it going to take for people to start uniting and to let go of this illusion of separation, this illusion of division, and step into that unity, like unifying? You know what I mean? It's like loving our differences instead of hating our differences, coming together regardless of your background, regardless of what you look like, regardless of your belief systems, right? Like, we all have our own programmings and conditionings and soul traumas and upbringings, and it's like when we all come together as a community, we can literally help each other to heal, and that's just so powerful. And I'm so excited that humanity is coming, like it's getting to that point, and shit has got to get worse before it gets better. The next couple of years, like, I'm not going to put this out there, but there's going to be lots of shifts and transformation and deep healing, much needed deep healing. So I feel like in the human perspective, we can get so caught up with how heavy things feel and how sad things are, how traumatic things are, our anger getting triggered within us, like our boundary violations, right? Like, it's like we can get so caught up in that emotional windstorm, that emotional roller coaster. It's like we sometimes forget to take a step back and really observe the big picture, And I really just want to say, like, just for my own individual journey and my own healing, like, it has not been easy. And I will never project and, like, falsify this idea that, getting on your healing journey is easy and rainbows and unicorns and, achieving oneness is so like a cakewalk, and it's not. It's really about integrating those uncomfortable layers and understanding the roles they play. Like, for example, I really want to share this piece, actually. So just recently, I got into a discussion with a family member, and it was super triggering, which, wasn't my intention. However, it was like the universal intention, right? And so anyway, like, they needed to get triggered on a deeper level to initiate deeper healing, right? Like, sometimes it takes us to get so fucking triggered and so angry and so defensive and so projecting that, like, getting into that mode helps us see, like, holy shit, there's something here deeper. There's something deeper that I need to witness and let go of. And I feel like it can be hard if you don't hold this, like, healed, not even healed, but just this dark masculine energy of, like, being present, right? Like, being present with your trauma and being present with your wounds and everything. Like, it really does take a lot of discipline and just this inner ability to just witness it for what it is, instead of getting in that defensive mode, instead of getting into that victim mentality mode, And personally, what I realized was when this family member was getting into these modes, obviously I was sitting in my dark masculine, like, just observing, just witnessing, like, for what it was. Like, I just knew, I could just see that there was a wound there, and clearly what I said was very triggering, and really it was a gift. It was a gift. That triggering was a gift to heal and release that old energy that doesn't serve that family member anymore. And so anyway, after that discussion, I went into my bedroom, had some personal energy come up actually from that discussion. So it was definitely a two-way energy exchange. So my gift was, I had this, like, unresolved energy, I want to say, from, like, my childhood, like my inner child self. And it showed me that I didn't feel safe to have my heart open, which is a major manifestor blocker, which I'm actually adding this whole thing to my manifestation course. Like, that's going to be so incredible. And I'm going to teach you guys how to manifest with ease and grace and help those of you who literally struggle with manifestation. You're like, I have no idea how to manifest. I've never been successful manifesting. You guys who are familiar with me and how I heal, I really dig deep into all of the layers of how to accomplish something. So this manifestation course has lots of layers, and we're going to hit all the major points, which are going to help people be able to manifest. And so anyway, back to what I was talking about. So yeah, just revisiting my inner child came up, and I had to release that old energy, and I started feeling called to connect with Kali Ma. And it was, like, late at night, so I was like, no, like, I'm just going to deal with this tomorrow morning. And so anyway, today is the day. I go into my meditation pyramid room, and literally I see and I feel Kali Ma. I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, clearly got some deeper work I got to do for myself today. Like, what's going on? So I connected with her, and I was like, okay, Kali, like, what do I need to hear today? Like, what is the message? And she literally came through, and she said, sever the head. Sever the head. And I said, okay. So I started, like, feeling and connecting with, okay, obviously I need to sever this, like, egoic self, inner child head, whatever that is. Like, clearly I have attachments from my upbringing that I need to heal and let go from, which will allow me to feel safe, to open my heart, to feel unconditional love from friendships, relationships, intimate relationships, like, all the things, right? So anyway, it was, like, so deep, super deep healing. And I don't know if I shared this with you guys, but also one of my psychic abilities is having higher forces step through me. And yeah, Kali made it known today that she's going to be stepping through me moving forward. So I cannot wait to see how that manifests in the future. That'd be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty cool and amazing. Working with Kali, for those who have never worked with Kali, she is intense. And she is like this, she's like the deepest, like, spiritual purifier. That's literally what I call her. And when she severed that head for me, like, was helping me let go of things that I was attached to that didn't serve me anymore. And I also, like, set the intention, like, okay, Kali, like, please take away anything I need to detach from, anything that's, like, standing in my soul path, my soul journey, like, just get rid of it. Just take it all right now. So yeah, that deep healing really took me to the next level. I literally felt myself shift into new energy. And that's what it takes, guys. Like, y'all want to manifest, like, you know, your dream home and your dream car and your dream this, that, and the third. You need to make energetic space for it. You want abundance, you need to make energetic space for it, right? Like, what is it that you're attaching to that you're not letting go of that's literally blocking you from obtaining what it is that you want, you know? And I feel like that's not talked about enough. And if you think about it this way, it's like, think about your closet, right? Think about your closet full of clothes. You know, you've got new clothes, old clothes, semi-new clothes, whatever. And you go out and you go shopping on Amazon, you go shopping in the mall, like whatever. And you come home and you can't put any more stuff in your closet because it's so full, right? You need to make space. You've got to sacrifice things that don't serve you anymore. You know, things that are just literally taking up space for no reason, right? Like, it served a purpose before, you know, so it's not like it's useless. It's not like it didn't serve. It served. But it's a matter of, are you actually ready to let something go? Are you actually ready to make the energetic space for it? Right? Like, we get in our ego a lot and we're like, oh yeah, like, I'm fucking ready. Like, let's do it, you know? Just rip it all off. But really, when we come back down to reality and, like, get grounded and centered, we're not actually ready to make those choices and those steps. Like, it actually terrifies us, right? Because we're like, what's going to happen if I let this go? What's going to happen? You know? We get caught in the what ifs. And, you know, your highest self reality is peace, is everything your soul truly desires. It's just like 10 out of 10 reality, right? Like, it is a reality that you yourself, your current self, just could not even fathom at this current moment because it's that fucking amazing for you, right? Like, for some of us, for some of our soul's journey, your 10 out of 10 living situation could be living in, like, an earthship on your own land and having animals and gardening and just all the things, right? Like, that would totally light your soul up. And you're like, that is my 10 out of 10 highest self reality. Some of y'all might be like, oh, my highest self reality is having, like, $1 million property in the Caribbean with jet skis, and I live in a village, and I travel mainly on moped, and I go to farmers markets for the grocery store. I live, you know, on blue water. Like, it's just, we literally cannot fathom our highest self reality yet. Like, we can't even grasp it until we're, like, there in it. You know what I mean? It's like we think, our ego thinks it knows everything, and it thinks it knows the best for us. It thinks it knows, like, what we want, when really those egoical wants are just getting in our way. It's just taking up unnecessary space. And so anyway, I feel like I went on kind of a tangent, but let's bring this back to oneness. Let's come back to oneness, okay? Oneness with humanity. Right now, we are not in a state of oneness, right? We have racism going on. We have division going on. We have borders and countries going on. How can you have oneness with borders? How? That just literally doesn't make any sense. How can you have oneness if you are constantly pointing fingers at each other about how different you fucking look, how different you are physically, right? Like, stop it. I'm the universe telling you to stop it. When you catch yourself, if you grew up, which the majority of you did, if you grew up with conditioning to despise somebody outside of you because they look different than you, why don't you, okay, when you're moving through life, your day-to-day, you're in the grocery store, and you see somebody that looks different than you, and that triggers you for whatever reason, take a step back and go, okay, this is my current thought. This is what I'm feeling. Now, why am I feeling this? Is this my belief? Did I ever feel this way when I was like 3 or 4 years old? Did I ever have this filter when I was super young? Or was this something that was conditioned and ingrained onto me? Was this ingrained into my psyche? Right? Like by my parental figures, by society, by music, by fashion, whatever it is, right? Is this my belief? No. Now, can I sit in oneness, that oneness energy, and taking this current belief with me? No, I can't. Right? Like, it's dysfunctional. It's low vibrational. It's just, oh my God, I could totally go on a tangent about this. But anyways, I want you to make a different choice, right? No matter who you are, no matter where you are, you catch yourself getting triggered because of somebody who looks different than you. I want you to look at that person who triggered you and find at least one thing that you find beautiful about them. It could be their eyes, it could be their hair texture, how clear their skin is, their height, their body type, their whatever it is, right? Like, wow, they are truly so unique and so beautiful. And I absolutely love that. I love how different we are. I love how different we are and how we get to exist in this diverse place, on this diverse planet, and oneness, and feel connected to them, right? Like, do y'all, for those of you who have seen the Avatar movie, which, how can you not see that movie? It's so good. Anyway, the scene where they're like all together in community, they're like chanting together, like basically like meditating together. They're like literally that scene where they're like moving, dancing, and praying to Awa, like they're literally connected to that oneness. They are in unity consciousness, right? Even though they're all blue people, you know what I mean? They were considered the forest people. And there's like a sequel, and they talked about the water people, and like the forest and the water people came together, right? Like that's unity consciousness. Okay? We are shifting into a new age, a new era, a new energy moving forward, where we are going to be like the Avatar movie, with our differences coming together, finding the beauty in the differences, finding the beauty in diversity, right? And like, wow, the value that it adds. Like, I can't even, like, I feel like I'm getting into like mystical, like super high energy, like high priestess energy. I can't even like bring it down to the earth. Like, let me see how I can word this. It's like we're all just unique, different expressions of the divine experiencing itself. And being able to witness and immerse ourselves in the diversity and the different experiences and learning from each other, right? Like, we all have something we can learn from each other, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And if you think about it this way, if we were to stay on this trajectory of division and racism and prejudice and all the things, right? I feel like you are just literally adding on the chains and adding on the chains and adding on the chains, and you are just building and building and building these mental and emotional prisons for yourself. And then eventually you are so boxed up that you just can't even fucking move anymore. You just can't even fucking move anymore. And it's time to break free. It's time to break free of these fucking chains. Get them off of you, right? Get out of the mental prisons, set yourself free mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all the things, right? It's time to set yourself free. Because we all really want freedom. All of our souls really crave freedom. Financial freedom, physical freedom, emotional freedom. We love freedom, right? It feels fucking good. It feels liberating. And yeah, that energy that we're stepping into is going to be liberating as fuck. As fuck. And so I'm just super excited. I'm super excited about this oneness, unity consciousness that is coming on the planet. I'm super excited to see it fully integrate in people. I can't wait to see how we're going to fully integrate, to coming together as humanity, and like even, meeting new higher vibrational species moving forward, just like Avatar, right? Like, they literally lived on the same planet in the same universe, and they were like two different species, right? Like water species and the forest people. It's like they still came together. Humanity is not the only species that exists out there, and that might be a rude awakening for some of you, but it's actually time. Like, it's time to get a grip on your reality and get out of the mental prison that has been embedded on you since childhood, that society has conditioned you, that your culture has conditioned you, your religion has conditioned you to think, literally, like, to keep you trapped in this box. It's time to get out of the box, right? Set yourself free. Okay, come on now. Just apply this logic, right? We literally live on planet Earth, okay? And we have all of these diverse insects. Okay? You know how many insects there are? You know how many animals there are? Do you know how many species exist in the ocean? You have no idea because it hasn't even been fully discovered. Right? It's like there's so much to be discovered. There's so much connection waiting for us out there. There's so many other species like us out there. There's just other beings who literally want the best for us. And like, how fucking cool would that be to like meet these new species and integrate oneness and unity with them and learn from them and advance with them? And it's like our lives are only going to get better. They're only going to get better. We're only going to add more value to them. Like, it doesn't get worse from here. It gets better from here. Like, we have already lived through the worst of the worst, right? Like, our planet has been under attack for a long time by the low vibey, negative intention ones, right? And it's like, they're all leaving. They're all getting purged off the planet. Like, obviously, we're going to have some darkness. I feel like, here's the thing. As we're moving into unity consciousness, we are not 100% getting rid of the dark, okay? Because that just wouldn't make sense. We live in a binary universe that is both polarizing with light and dark. And so right now, we are at an imbalance with the light and the dark. Like, there's just too much dark. And so we're literally bringing that back into balance. So I don't want to like create this false idea that like all darkness is going to go away, because that's not true. And I feel like really the darkness is our greatest teacher, you know? As fucking horrible and traumatic and aggressive and intense that it is our greatest teacher, really, truly. And so really we're going to be coming back into balance with it, you know? It won't be in charge of the light. Like, there's going to be a healthy ebb and flow of light and dark, like there's supposed to be, right? Like, we were literally moving out of that imbalance into like a more balanced state of being. So yeah, this is like a lot of information. So really just take the time to let this integrate, re-listen to this podcast if you need to. It's a lot, but yeah, once everyone starts to realize their own unique connection to the divine, which we're all connected to source, every single one of us, because, right, like I said, we're all source energy just experiencing itself. And so everything is connected to source, whether you are light or dark. And, you know, I don't believe that you have to go to a certain location, building, follow certain rules to connect to that energy. You can literally just use your free will because you are that powerful. You have your own individualism. You have your own free will to decide when and whenever you choose to connect to that higher energy at any time. You know, whether you just want to relax, whether you want to obtain knowledge, whether you want to, you know, say, hey, I know I haven't really connected with you on a deep level, but I'm ready. I know that, like, when my first connection with source was so intense. Like, I couldn't believe it. I really, like, when I was experiencing it, I was like, whoa, like, this is so intense. Like, this is nothing like I've ever experienced before. And it just felt so balanced. It felt so balanced and so powerful and so loving and so welcoming, enveloping, like, just bright and major high vibey. Like, it was just awesome. I was like, ooh, I like this feeling. I want to do it again. And I want to teach others how to do that, right? Like, I do have a meditation on my YouTube and my Rumble channel. It is connecting to source. It's like my very first meditation that I post. But yeah, after my first experience with source, I was like, oh my God, I have to create a meditation so I can literally teach people how to connect to this energy too. Like, they need to. You guys need to. It is essential. It is essential spiritual hygiene, right? Like, just like taking a shower is physical hygiene, same thing. Connecting to source is healthy spiritual hygiene, right? Like, I always ask source to recharge my life force energy and clear my energy of the day. Like, it's just so necessary. It's so necessary, so healthy. And what I love about connecting to source is there's no fucking rules. There's no rules. There's no, like, you have to fast for 24 hours and then you can connect to source. So you have to believe that you're going to be, I don't know, shunned if you do this, like, kind of shit, like that religion does. I can't stand it. It just bugs me. Like, literally, Oh my gosh, y'all. I have been doing so much channeling and researching with genetics and healing the DNA, and I actually discovered there's a DNA blocker that actually prevents freedom of thought. And so for those individuals who contracted to get brainwashed by religion and other ways of thinking in this lifetime, have that DNA blocker in their genetics and actually remove that in sessions. So if this speaks to you, if this calls to you, if you're like, oh my God, like I'm ready to fucking think for myself and make my own choices and decisions, check out my website, www.zenwithgracen.com, book an online session, and we can go into your genetics on a spiritual level and get rid of that DNA blocker, heal your DNA, heal your genetics, and yeah, we're going to create massive transformation for you. You're going to start living your life, right? Like you're not going to be living someone else's life, because that's what I feel like you do whenever you're following somebody else's system. Like when you're following organized religion, when you're following what somebody else tells you what to think in, right? Like you're not living for you. You're living for somebody else. Like talk about major people pleasing. How fucking miserable is that? It's so miserable. Like I literally would never want to do that. And I think it's really incredible and inspiring to watch those who have gone through that on a soul journey and literally come out on the other side and say, you know what? This is fucking bullshit, and I cannot believe I got mixed up into this, and now I'm going to start like living life for me. I'm going to choose me. I'm putting me first. So anyway, totally went on another tangent, but anyways, so yeah, this is a really, really deep conversation. Super, super deep. And honestly, I feel like divinity it can have so many layers to it. It does have so many layers to it. And, you know, whatever you want to label it, whatever, you know, sings to you, speaks to you. With divinity, you know, it could be connecting to source. It could be going out in nature and connecting with animal spirits. It could be whatever, right? But it's like you. It's whatever you want, whatever you're choosing to do. And I feel like when we connect to our divinity in whatever way that, like, manifests in a non-brainwashy way, right? Like you could, for example, you're connecting to your divinity by going up into the mountains, and you can connect to your spirit guides, or you can connect to the squirrel up there, or you can connect to source, or you can connect to the energies of the mountains, or like whatever, right? Like that's connecting with your divinity. You know, it doesn't have to be this old religious way. Like those systems are crumbling, and I'm here to help them crumble because they literally don't serve us anymore. On a higher level, they do not serve us anymore. And if this is triggering for you, look within. Look deep within. What's coming up for you? You know, are you feeling your inner child speaking to you like, hey, I've always felt this way, but, you know, I was scared for my safety. I was scared that I was going to be neglected if I didn't follow this religion, right? If I didn't follow this belief system within my family, like if I didn't follow this, right? My physical safety was threatened. Your level 1 physiological needs were threatened, right? There's like Pavlov's, I think it's like 4 or 5 needs, can't remember, but like your basic needs were threatened because if you didn't follow your parental's like way of living or being, your physiological safety was threatened, right? So what did you do? You went into survival mode. You created this survival mode of yourself, this version of yourself that needs to collapse, right? Later on in the future, once you're ready to make changes and shift into your highest self reality. Because let me tell you something, you're not going to be your survival self in your highest self reality. Like you are not going to have a dysregulated nervous system 24/7 in your highest self reality. It's just not happening, you know? And so yeah, check back in with your inner child. What is he or she saying to you? Hey, remember when you like went to church for the first time, or you remember when you did this for the first time, or your grandparents told you this for the first time and it just didn't sit right with you? You didn't rock with it? You're like, that makes me feel uncomfortable, and I don't agree. But it was so forced onto you that it was like, if you don't believe this, we're going to threaten your physical safety. We're going to threaten your basic needs of living. We're going to threaten this, right? So that you do listen to me. You do buy into what I say. You do follow my low vibrational brainwashy technique ways. You do follow into this cult-like way of thinking. Because if you don't, well, then I'm going to threaten your physical safety and then you're going to die, right? Like, it's like, it goes deep. It goes deep. And it's necessary to have this conversation. Absolutely necessary. Because a lot of us as kids, we never saw racism. We didn't we didn't even see that, right? Hands up for those of you who remember playing in kindergarten and literally like you were all just being and like having a great time and playing around the playground and running around and laughing with each other, right? Like playing in the sandbox. I don't know if y'all had a sandbox. We had a sandbox, but yeah, it was so nice. Like nobody was looking at each other for like, oh, you're different than me and I hate you for that. Nobody was doing that, right? Nobody was like, oh, you don't believe in this religion? Well, then I can't talk to you, right? Or maybe that was your kindergarten. That's fucking traumatic to go through. But even growing up in the Bible Belt, I still didn't go through that in kindergarten. Like everybody, it was like unity consciousness was in kindergarten. It was like we were all aware that we all looked different and we all had different parents, but it was like we didn't give a fuck. We just loved each other. Like it was just so pure. Like I really missed that time. And it's so awesome that we are just making full circle and coming back around to that energy moving forward in the next couple of years. And I could totally go on and on and on about this stuff. But yeah, I feel like there's lots of Kali energy right now with this Venus in retrograde. There's some like burning of old loving patterns, old behaviors, old constructs. Here we go. Old constructs of being and thinking that are just getting burned and being brought to our forefront right now. And it's time to listen. It's time to listen. It's time to take action on that. It's go time. It is go time. You know, and you don't have to get into this spiraling, you know, shadow work addiction kind of thing, like just constantly healing like one thing after another. That's part of my soul journey, because not like whole spiraling, but like, you know, learning to heal new things, because I am meant to integrate a bunch of things into one to help people heal and learn faster. So, but anyway, the point is not to get so hung up on the next thing and just feel in the present moment what makes sense for you in the present moment, right? Like one day you're feeling this energy to work with Kali Ma and like rip your head off and have an ego death all over again and feel all the things, right? Like you could have a past lifetime coming up. Like just don't go looking for things. Just allow them to surface naturally, because everything that comes your way comes in divine timing. And it's just a matter of you listening, right? It's a matter of you listening to that. I feel like that's feminine energy, just listening. And I feel like there's going to be times when you're listening and you're like feeling called to step into your masculine and take action and, you know, just go. And then there's going to be times where you like feel into your feminine, where you just wait for life to happen and then wait to respond kind of thing, right? Like don't create unnecessary stuff in your life that's going to create resistance, struggle, frustration, exhaustion, all the things, you know? So just start connecting to your body, start connecting to your intuition, right? Listen. And if you have a hard time listening to your body, you know, what can you do to heal your body? Can you go to the gym? Can you find pole fitness? Can you find dancing? Like what can you do to physically heal your body? Can you start eating healthier? Cut way back on sugar, eat less than 10 grams a day, right? Like I know I had a hard time connecting to my intuition and my body wisdom because of how much sugar I would freaking eat and take. Like I literally was that person who would go to Krispy Kreme and go to the gas station, eat tons of Kit Kats. Like it was disgusting. It was so disgusting. And yeah, like sugar literally blocks your connection to your higher self, your intuition. So really, really cut back and discipline yourself. Step into your healthy masculine and discipline yourself with the sugar, right? Like sometimes you will get those random cravings to feel grounded, but when you develop the habit of eating healthier and cutting way back on sugar, you will feel like your gut, like it's super uncomfortable. Like when you go to and take another huge thing of sugar, you'll be like, ugh, this feels awful. It feels like it's like inflaming your gut. Like you're like, ugh, this sucks. This feels horrible, right? So yeah, just heal your body as best as you can. There is no right or wrong way. All of us are unique. All of us are different. All of us are going to require, you know, different habits of physical discipline. All of us are going to, you know, be gravitated towards different supplements. All of us are going to be gravitated towards different foods. Just listen to your body. One day you're craving vegan bowl, go eat it. And one day you're craving Marco's pizza, go eat it. There's a reason. You start listening to your body, things are going to start shifting. Okay? So really start listening to your body, really start connecting to your intuition. Even if you think you're not connecting to it, you're like, I don't know if that's like my ego or whatever. Fuck it. Like, you're going to have to start somewhere. Start somewhere, and then you're going to learn through your own journey what's ego and what's your intuition. And you can listen to all the teachers, all the healers, talk to you till you're blue in the face on how to do it. But it's until you start integrating those practices that you're really going to understand and integrate that information, right? So, yeah. Awesome, guys. I think I'm going to end it there because I really could just talk about so many things. But yeah, I really hope this podcast episode added value and brought up some stuff for you to heal and witness and learn from, grow from, shift into some new energy, into the energies that you really want, that your soul really wants. Yeah, this was so incredible. And I just want to give a little shout out to Alex Beezer for suggesting this topic because, oh my gosh, was so needed at this time. And I can't wait to see like a couple of years when people like come back and listen to my podcast and they're like, oh my God, she was like right on, spot on. So yeah, that's going to be really cool and incredible. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was activating, healing, triggering, all the things, right? Because we can't grow unless we're not triggered. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. I love you all so, so much. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, wonderful rest of your week. And yeah, keep vibing, stay healthy, and start thriving. Love you guys.